helps if I get my ugly muggly straight in the camera right like this. Hey, well, hi everybody, and welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Mayhem ensuing. We got a whole lot to unpack. I'll go ahead and introduce myself and introduce everybody around the table. I'm Big Daddy Gonzo. I'm your host. I'm your producer. It's my stuff. It's my stuff. And everybody gets to come play with me in Gonzo's Playhouse. And seated directly across from me in olive drab. I love olive, by the way. I've been big on olive, and now all of a sudden Matt's got to start getting olive stuff.
Take my glass off. It brings out my eyes, my wife said, the color in the eyes.
Because that's what you want to do. You want to attract female viewers.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
That's what we're getting the chick market going. It's Matt, the Maz Masaracchio.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. What the hell day is it today? Saturday. I'm still not used to this Saturday stuff.
See the college jersey? It's Saturday.
Oh, we got a college jersey.
You aren't on camera yet, FSU boy.
Saturday. Happy Saturday, everybody. But we got lots to discuss.
Well, and much to my chagrin, seated next to you, matriculating on the screen from left to right, is Johnny Audubon and some guy in a blue and garnet and gold, and that's an FSU alternate jersey? Is that what it is?
It is a FSU alternate jersey to honor the Seminole tribe. It will be showcased next season.
So slide your mic a little closer to you. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I know you got the basso profundo.
Yeah. It'll be available next season. They'll wear it one night for the Seminole tribe.
But you had to bring it to my house.
I did on a Saturday, getting ready for a big game against Duke. Keep it going. College football playoff in sight.
Yeah. What are you fourth ranked this week now? Is it
fourth or third, depending on what you look at. But it doesn't really matter till 2 weeks from now when the college football playoff comes out, and then that's where you got to see where you're at. The polls don't mean shit for now.
Right. Well,
as we saw by Miami being ranked like 13th and then not knowing how to take a knee.
I got nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing. Even I was like, what the? And by the way, I've been watching the Pat McAfee show. What the fuck? I'm going to say it. I'm not even going to beep it. It's just, that's it. WTF, man.
Bring it.
Hey, listen, McAfee drops F. That's the only thing that they beep out on McAfee's show is the F-bombs. He is shit and bullshit and damn hell, blah, blah, blah. Tits. He used tits. You're not allowed to say tits on regular TV. Well, you are on ESPN now, I guess.
Wow.
Which is fine. Hey, you know what? McAfee is my hero. I can't lie. He is the guy who has changed the game for so many different games. It's not even funny. It really is. It's hilarious. But, McAfee changed the game for pro wrestling. He jumped right in. He's like, oh, like this is hard? And all of a sudden he's on pay-per-views jumping off the top turnbuckle.
Getting stunned by Stone Cold.
Yeah. He's like, oh, this is hard? And then turn around, Logan Paul was another one. With like 3 weeks of training, and this kid's on a pay-per-view, or excuse me, on the Saudi Arabian show that they do. Their super pay-per-view over there. They get paid. It's like a paid show. For like $100 million, and they go over to Saudi Arabia and redo a whole pay-per-view show.
They have so much money over there.
Oh yeah,
they just throw money at everything, right?
Oh, look at Abu Dhabi. Oh, it's all little fiefdoms all around the big main peninsula area, and it's all of these Saudi family princes that've got all these billions and billions of dollars. It's like, oh, well then I don't want to be part of the.
We got the first score in college football already. A touchdown with the Trent Dilfer's UAB Blazers.
Oh boy,
Trent Dilfer on the sidelines.
So fiery.
Seen
a few videos.
Very fiery.
Thanks for breaking up the wrestling talk. I really I couldn't find my way out of that.
He's pretty emotional.
Started me down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the actual, the meat of the nut, the thing that we came here to do, and we don't have to watch our language anymore. So, Matt, let's go ahead and.
Tits.
Where are we going with this?
We're going to be talking some kick rocks, obviously today. That's part of.
So we're gonna do rock solid kick rocks.
Hell yeah, we're doing that.
And for those of you who don't know, rock solid is we're going to come up with a topic, and we're going to see if that's a rock solid topic. If it's really, if it's real, it's true, it's worth paying attention to, or we are going to tell it to kick rocks, beat it, kid.
Baby, yeah.
Get out of here. We got better things to do with our time. Would we rather talk about Taylor Swift?
No, I would rather not actually. But yeah, we are going to talk about some games. There's a couple of big games this week, like every week. There's some key matchups. We'll hit on Lions, Ravens. That's a big one. Buffalo, New England. Chargers, Chiefs. That's another big one.
I love you, Taylor.
You guys, I say you guys collectively, Dolphin fans, have a monster game against the Eagles.
What do you mean by you people?
Well, I mean you guys are Dolphin fans. So, and I'm just a sports fan. So that's why I say you guys. You guys have a huge game coming up against the Eagles. That's going to really, I think, kind of
Would you like to spend the next 45 minutes talking about it?
Not at all.
Well, then quit mentioning it. Otherwise, we're ready to go.
to give you guys an identity. So that's an important game. And then we'll talk about Core 4. We'll talk
Give
about
us an identity.
We'll talk about, just some other, maybe a new segment sort of thing. We've kind of gotten away from, or never really gotten involved with, our season-long leagues. Just as important. A lot of us are in it. So this week, the term they throw around, Buy-Mageddon. You got about, 5 or 6 teams on buys this week? So the waiver wires are thin.
5 out of 6 bench players on a bye.
Yeah, this is a tough week. So we all went through and we have found some waiver wire additions that hopefully can help your team. These guys should be available in most leagues. So we'll go through some of those guys as well. But let's start off with some kick rocks.
You're starting to really warm up to the whole kick rocks concept.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Kick rocks.
Because we have a lot of fun talking about this and getting topics. And one of my favorite topics or things to do is to bang on Tom Brady. So let's start.
Oh, my God.
And even out of football, he's annoying, right? You see him talking about now, the latest thing was he has the nerve to come out and say that today's NFL is soft and that referees need to stay in their lanes and not get involved and all this other stuff. Shut up, Tom Brady. You're the reason why they changed half the rules in this league to begin with. Give me a break on that. So my question is to you is this Tom, who did recently sign a big TV contract?
His camera froze. I don't know why.
As soon as he mentioned Tom Brady, the
See,
camera stopped working.
froze.
There's something
The camera
going on
froze
here.
on him.
Apparently,
I got to reset your camera, I guess. I don't know, man. You did something.
look at him,
You
look
broke
at
it.
See what
a good
happens
shot.
when you go
Talk
after
about
the
Tom
goat.
Brady.
You broke it.
So basically, after Tom Brady, he signed a big TV deal. So apparently, we're going to get to see his ugly face at some point. But my question is that would you like to see Tom Brady doing play-by-play analysis on a Sunday or a Monday night game? Johnny, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, let's go to a camera that works, okay? So
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and reboot his camera. You guys go ahead and give the analysis.
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, the football knowledge that he has, obviously winning 7 rings, 2 different teams, playing under the coach that he played. I mean, I think he can give you a ton of knowledge just like Romo does. I've actually become a fan of Tom Brady since leaving the Patriots for clear reasons as a Dolphin fan. So, yeah, I don't think I would mind too much him doing that. Plus, when you sign a massive contract like he signed a year before you actually retire, I think that this is in the game plan for him for sure. So I do believe that we're going to see this, and no, I wouldn't mind it that much at all.
Yeah, I agree. He signed this deal while he was still playing with Tampa, and the only reason he didn't start now was because Greg Olsen is so good at it that Fox was okay with him taking his time because
Greg Olsen's great.
He's going to
really
get
good.
demoted to the B squad, and Tom Brady would go to the A squad. But he's very knowledgeable. Tom Brady, he knows the sport, and if you listen to his podcast at all,
Not
it's
really.
pretty good.
Is
With
it
Larry
really?
Fitzgerald and Jim Gray on Let's Go. He has a lot of insights, has a lot of good things. So I think I would enjoy it.
He's been around a long time, obviously. There's no debate. He's a smart guy. But what I heard is that he's got a potential job offer coming up for a movie coming out. It's a sequel to Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so listen, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying
waiting in the wings for that
this
one.
guy has options,
He
okay?
couldn't wait.
He has options, and options are good. So, I mean, he may go in a different direction. He may go in both directions. You never know. But go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know what you did to this camera, but it is mad at you,
Talking bad
man.
about the
What's
goat.
happening
That's
when
why
you're
me and
talking
Drew
about
aren't doing it.
I am just
we want a show today.
struggling trying to get you back online, bro. Go ahead.
All right.
He's
so-
a typical Steeler fan.
yeah, that's what happened. So, all right.
Broke
So,
a camera.
you guys are all in favor of Tom being on TV. I'm kicking
Yes.
rocks. I'm tired of Tom Brady. I don't want to see his mug. And no, in all seriousness, there's a lot of stuff surrounding Brady, Belichick, the Patriots, the cheating scandals, the this, the that. These stories are never going to die if we constantly see this guy's face in the public eye and all the negative and all the BS in the story.
Hey,
Nobody
he's back.
cares. If it was just going to be about game analysis and if it was just going to be about guys breaking down, what they're seeing and giving us smart football talk, then that's fine. But there's always going to be baggage with Tom Brady. And I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm tired of watching it, listening to it, taking away from the game itself. And I'm just done with Tom Brady.
I think there'll always be baggage with the Patriots, not Tom. I think Tom winning a Super Bowl with a different team actually kind of erased a little bit of that for him at least. But I think Bill
Hey, look,
Belichick
you're
and the
back.
Patriots.
Hey, welcome back.
will have that hanging over their head for quite a while. I also think that if Tom does get on TV, like Drew just said, like he is likable. If you do watch his podcast, I've seen 2 episodes. It's entertaining. And I think the more entertaining that you are, or the more people that get to see that side of you, they'll kind of start to forget the bad things that might have happened in the past.
Yeah, people have short memories overall, I think.
Well, lest we forget, do we all remember the last 2 or 3 years of Tony Romo's playing career? Okay. People hated him with a burning, seething passion. It was like only Cowboy fans liked this guy. Now, granted, the Cowboy Nation is a throng. Okay, probably. Would you say the overall largest fan base in the NFL?
Patriots are them.
My Steelers are close. There's
Steelers are close,
yeah,
but
there's a
travel
few.
well too, man.
Yeah,
They're
there's a
everywhere.
few.
I mean,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
all the teams with all the multiple championships, of course, they're all going to be popular. But the Cowboys are the only ones that were called America's team, if you will.
Right.
So I think that once Romo retired, people found him to be more likable. Okay, I think it's going to be the other way around. Like Matt says, I think that once Brady has retired, because how many times have we seen videos and we've seen clips and we've seen stories of him being a little elite, a little elitist? Okay, he's not in touch with the common man.
He took the Lombardi Trophy and he threw it across the harbor.
Yeah, he's a.
I would have loved to see that thing
He's a rock
sink to the
star.
bottom of the ocean. Would that have been just perfect?
that
I mean,
would have been
honestly,
something. I'll tell you that.
He went to Gronk like he always does. I thought it was cool. I liked it. I liked him being drunk off of tequila and
Yep.
having to get helped out. I mean, that,
Yep.
That
he's
was
what
hilarious.
He's what all of us would be if we were like that.
It's good to see that side of him too, because he's always so serious during season because he's trying to win. It's good to see him just throw his hair back and do some crazy crap. I mean, it was cool.
Look
You
on
know,
his
it was.
face. I mean, how many times have we seen that working in the club business, and you have to escort somebody out, and they're easy enough. They're walking along, but you have to put an arm around them, and they're sort of bumping and leaning into you, like you have to guide them. But as long as they keep going, you don't give a shit. It's the same way with Tom and his friend. Like, all right, no more avocado vodka for you, there, Tommy boy. Come on, we're going to go feed you some pizza. Pizza! I haven't had pizza in so long. Yeah, let's go get some pizza.
I'm over Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
You're just over it.
I'm over Tom Brady.
Okay, so you want Tom Brady to kick rocks with his TV career.
Kick it, Tom. See you. buddy.
And you guys think he's going to be rock solid.
These guys have posters, so that's fine. No problem.
How much smarter is Tom Brady than Tony Romo as far as the game is concerned? Hell yeah. You are in the minority here.
Fair. I usually am, and I don't mind it. We are seeing, in our next topic,
You are the outlier.
a lot of women in sports these days. Miami Marlins just had their Florida GM, although she resigned it and re-signed, whatever the case. She's out there. You see coaches on the sideline.
Cynthia Freeland.
My question is, since we're talking about analysts and stuff like that, is are we ever going to see 2 women in the booth? Let's say a Monday night game, for instance.
I don't know about just 2 women, but I think we'll see more women. Mina Kimes can do it. There are a few others that just off the top of my head I can't.
You're in love with Mina Kimes. That's
she's
why.
great, and she's super smart. And
That's why I love Cynthia Freeland. I mean,
yeah,
I could tell the difference, I'm sure you guys can too, pretty quickly about somebody who's knowledgeable and not knowledgeable. And some of these women that I listen to, and I'm going to throw some names out, like
well, I still do this podcast with you guys, so it's okay.
like Joy Taylor. I think she's very smart.
Oh.
Your friend. We'll get to that story here in a
we're
moment.
We're gonna get.
That'll
We
be
got a
another-
Joy Taylor story.
Yeah.
that'll be another day when
Yeah.
I print out the- I'll
Hashtag
print
Joy
out the-
Taylor. Listen, if you happen to be one of the 25 or 30 people that are watching this and you have a way to get to Joy Taylor, tell her we're talking about her.
Yeah, also,
Please, go ahead and send her an email, text message, whatever, smoke signals. Tell her we're talking about her. Go
Jane
ahead.
Slater. She's also very talented. very
Jane is
smart.
great.
There's a lot of women I think that can handle it, that can get in the booth at one point. Now, again, you're always going to get kickback because there's always chauvinist men
I mean,
that are going
Doris
to look
Burke
at
is
that.
great in the NBA. There's no reason that anybody can't
Yeah.
do it in the NFL.
Doris may be one of the 3
It's-
best.
yeah, exactly. So it's
One,
I'm not
2,
a-
3 best.
I am not at all intimidated by women in sports in that role, whether it's just on, behind the desks, on the sidelines, in the booth, whatever it is, on the coaching. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter, man or woman.
A little aside about Doris Burks, okay? I mean, she called Game 7 of one of the playoff series with the Heat last year, and I lost track of the fact that she was a female. She had no gender. Okay, she was amazing. Doris Burks is she's bound for the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. I mean, forget the fact that she may have broken ground as a solo NBA announcer, but she's got the goods.
Yeah.
She deserves it. She is it's one of the very best. Yeah. Not only in I'd like to hear Doris call an NFL game. I'd love it. Or a baseball game. I'd love to see her call any sport because she is fantastic. So I'm a big Doris Burke fan, by the way. So it's okay.
Yeah. So for me personally, I do think that we're within a year or two away from getting 2 women on Monday night. Al Michaelis is 100 years old.
But
and they're paying
how about
him
if they make it 2
$1
women
million
and a third as a guy?
No, I could see that. Like Tony Romo and 2 girls. I could see that. But as far as 2 women calling a football game, maybe ESPN forces the issue being woke or whatever, but at the end of the day, you will see your ratings drop, and you can pay the bet on that. The question is not can they? They can. The question is, will you ever see it? And I don't think you're going to see just 2 women in the booth by a male-dominated watch sport. I just don't see it happening.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I think there will be a host. I think it'll be 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, 1-on-2, whatever the case may be.
Because what I'm saying is on every ESPN show, every Fox Sports show everywhere, on every table there's a woman.
Yep.
I mean, that's how it is now. That used to never be the case.
So they got the brains.
Okay, I'm in favor of this, but not even talking about just your ESPN host. I mean, because for 100 years, Hannah Storm, there's been many that have been successful in the business.
Just don't say Linda Cohn.
But in today's genre of sports where women are clearly carving roles, not just at ESPN, but other major networks.
But there's always going to be a former player in the booth.
Always, yeah.
You have to have
Always
that
a former player.
perspective.
Because you have to know what the game is like and feel
Whether
what
it's
these players are feeling. Yeah.
or whether it's Tony Romo, Mark Sanchez, Greg Olson, Daryl Johnson, Troy Aikman, the list goes on. There's always going to be a former player in the booth to give their specific perspective, and there's not a women football player in the NFL. So that's why it won't happen. It may be a play-by-play announcer, but there's always going to be somebody in the booth that has played the game to give it. Whether Drew Brees, Jason Garrett.
There's a lot, yeah, that's fair.
I don't think right now there is a booth outside of local broadcasts, and usually local broadcasts is a local former player. Jim Mad Dog Magic did it for a long time here.
Right.
Always a player.
God,
that's why it'll
that
never
guy.
be.
And look at all the shows that do have women on it. They are surrounded by 3 or 4 other men that have played the game. It works that way, though, because it does give you a woman's perspective, which I think you need. I don't want to watch any more shows with just maybe guys on it. I do like that idea, but just women talking about football, when a guy gets hurt or he's limping off the field, how is she supposed to relate of what that feels like or what he's about to go through into the booth? You just don't. You need a male's perspective in there of a guy who's played the game at a high level.
Right. Well, and I hate to reference another show, but since it's probably one of the most popular shows on TV, but McAfee also says that he every time that they have a female guest, he's like, we don't have enough women. We don't. He makes a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's true.
and listen,
I mean,
think about this with the relationships between sports and gambling. Women gamble too. There's a lot of women playing fantasy football and a lot of women betting on games. So the more women that you introduce to all different capacities of the sports, you're just growing the brand. So, and I think I read or heard somewhere that up to, I think, 30% of the NFL viewing audience is women. That's a third.
It's surprising, isn't it?
Is that
Yeah.
pre or post Taylor Swift?
That's post is probably even more.
Yeah, post Taylor Swift
Yeah.
is definitely
50.
more.
Guys, that's a huge number.
All you got to do is look at the merch.
Yeah, 30%.
Look at the merch.
That's a huge number.
Okay,
So,
you've gone. Everybody here has gone online and shopped for a T-shirt, a hat, or whatever. Okay, and it's men, women, and the women's. I mean, of course, it's fashion, it's clothes, it's accessories. So of course, the women are going to have a few more. And of course, they have the option of pink, and they have the option of girly frilly stuff. Where we're men, and we like T-shirts, and we like things in teal and garnet, and that shirt is it's disturbing to me. I don't know why. It catches the eye. It's just.
I love your shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I love the
Mr.
colors.
Olive drab.
I love the colors.
But yeah, women are a huge demographic, especially like I said on the merchandise side.
Huge.
On the merchandise side, I mean, and of course, who's going to buy all those White Claws that you get at stadiums anyway?
$14 White Claws, baby.
I mean, besides you, Matt, who else is going to get them?
Tangerine, one of my favorite flavors.
Tangerine's his favorite flavor. Woo, White Claw wasted.
Never had a White Claw.
So,
Who the hell it is?
so we're all in agreement. We're excited to see two women in the booth.
I am, but you also say it's not going to happen. It's possible. I mean, again, I just think women in sports now, it's their roles are expanding.
Is
And I
women
just think-
female play-by-play with a male color? How about that?
Yeah, I mean
Does that
that's
work
very
for you?
possible, and it's soon.
That's soon.
I just think you're seeing a progression towards women's involvements in sports on all levels, which is obviously, like I said, from the sidelines to the sports desk, to the coaching ranks, to referees, to players, whatever. I just think the roles are expanding, and eventually the progression would be towards getting women in the booth.
Well, we saw what Kay what's her face for the used to do the
Kay Adams.
Kay Adams. They used to do the NFL
Morning
Network
Football.
Good Morning Football. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good play-by-play as far as giving I've seen her do highlights on there. So she's very well spoken. So would it be Kay Adams and you would do the color commentary
If she'd let me.
if she'd let you?
Yeah, that's
Really? Do
fine.
you think you'd be able to make it through the whole show?
I would, yes, of course I would.
You'd be divorced by the middle of the
Get
second
outta
quarter.
here. You're crazy. No chance.
Okay,
No chance.
you'd be divorced by the middle of the second quarter.
No chance. Only if Diana watched it and she was like, "Who's Kay Adams?" But no, give me. I'm straight. I'm flying straight. So.
You're flying straight with
Yeah.
it. You're being a good boy. in other
Always,
words. Okay.
always.
So we're all good with this?
We are good.
Then I feel better about going to the break. Okay. So, wow. That's going to wrap our first segment up nice and neat. Very nice. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back in about a minute and a half. More Gonzo Radio Sports. So we're going to do, what are we doing in the second segment?
Talking some games, some DFS.
DFS.
Yeah, we're talking about.
We said we were going to talk about leagues.
We have leagues too. We have some waiver wire pickups.
We
for
got
you.
to talk about leagues because once again, this is
The advantage of a Saturday show is you have tomorrow
and it's
to
by
make your changes.
Mageddon.
Yeah.
And it's by Mageddon.
Yep.
So we got to get to that too. All right. So by Mageddon coming up next, along with DFS, it's the fantasy segment. Isn't that fantastic? All right,
Recognize
settle
names.
down. Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk.
getting
It's pure mayhem around here. I'm telling you. You left everybody's leaving doors open, and it's just absolutely nutty. So while I go and get the door. You just want to get that whole jersey into this shot. That's what you want to do. Stop. Come here. Show the nice people the whole jersey. Turn around. Show them the back. It's fancy. I'll give you that. I can't believe I let Seminoles gear into my house. My friend Debbie would love that, by the way. She would probably want one very badly, actually. Debbie is a huge Seminole
They just
fan.
went on sale for everybody.
Much to my...
Is it reversible, the jersey? Like, can you wear it inside?
You're reversible.
Just question.
Yeah. So
I got a text. Is it reversible? I'm just saying, okay. So.
is it reversible?
Yeah.
I don't know. Make it go the other way, upside down. What? All right, let's get into fantasy football now. We've been really focused on DFS for the last 2 weeks at least.
Yeah.
But we really haven't gotten into the leagues. And this is a special weekend because how many teams are on a bye week this week?
Half of them, I believe, are on a
Half
bye
the
week.
teams
Yeah,
are on a
about
bye week.
half
It's
the teams.
Bye-Mageddon.
Yeah, there's half the teams.
Yeah, like Red Zone's going to have like 4 games in the afternoon at 1 o'clock and 4 games at 4 o'clock. It's like, what in the hell's going on there?
Yeah, they're going to be putting pickleball up on
Right?
the red zone in the
There's
corner.
less
There's going to be like
we're
two
going
pickleball
with
tournaments.
We're going to go with the Octobox.
Yeah.
And there's pickleball, volleyball, midget wrestling.
Yeah, so we got a lot of buys. We have a lot of teams that aren't playing, which means we have a lot of guys on our bench that have little buy words next to their name, and they're not playing. So you got to go to the waiver. You got to find players. It's tough. It's thin. If you're in 12-team leagues, most of us are. Guys are active weekly on the waiver wire, so it's a little thin. So I went through, grabbed some players that hopefully are still available in some of your leagues. I think between the 3 of us, we'll probably at least get one from each position that you can probably safely get. So I'm just going to rattle off mine. Quarterbacks. I got Sam Howell this week. He's 11th in total yards this year as a quarterback, ninth in terms of touchdown passes. Sam Howell.
Very surprising.
It's just not.
I played against him recently in a league game, actually. And
It's
what did he
funny.
drop? He
It's
dropped
funny how you
19.8?
mentioned Sam Howell because I believe that somebody is continuously trying to start Geno Smith over him in a certain league that we share.
I know we do. Because I went and I got
And
Sam
it's
Howell
going
off the
to
waivers.
No, I got Sam Howell off
Oh,
the
you
waivers
did?
and started him last week
Come
when
on,
he scored
fight it out. I
38
wanna
points
hear
to
this.
win.
All right.
So every time I put Sam Howell in, I see that Geno Smith is back in. So I'm just gonna have to get there at 12:58 tomorrow before the game
Oh,
starts.
my
Howell,
God.
here we
Fight,
go.
Fight.
Let me set
Have
my
you seen
alarm.
how bad Geno has been this year? I think we talked about that on the words. He has 5 touchdowns this year. 5.
Yeah, but not bad. Just mediocre. He's returned to
Oh, he's actually Geno Smith. You mean?
Yeah, he's returned to the mediocre form.
You guys are hating on my Geno Smith.
No,
anyway,
it's
let's
not
talk
hate.
about
It is
Sam
what it
Howell.
is.
I'll bring up some Geno Smith stats next week for you guys who love Geno Smith. But listen, Sam Howell probably available in about maybe half your leagues.
Like I said, I played against him last week. He was good.
Giants are giving up 28 points a game. It's like 4th most. So Washington, you would think, is going to put some points on the board this week. And if you're desperate for a quarterback, he's already low-end QB1 status normally. So certainly if he's available and you're in a tough spot, go get him.
Well, wait. I have an update. Here. I just scored against the New York Giants defense.
Oh, congratulations.
So
Yeah.
a 1-yard plunge.
It would have been a plunge if you scored, for sure. So,
Run forward and lean.
yeah, it would have been a plunge. Here's a guy, tight end position. I'm sure this guy's available 100% of your leagues. Trey McBride. Okay, 5 catches last week. And we're talking Arizona.
Yep.
Zach Ertz is getting a little long in the tooth. This was the first week that McBride had a greater snap share than Ertz did. And in this sort of game against Seattle, Arizona's positive game script, they're going to be throwing the football. So I'm on Trey McBride. And when we get to him in the core 4, sneak peek, he's cheap. So he's a guy that is just getting on people's radar. And if he has another 5 or 6 catch performance this week, you're ahead of the game because he's already probably on your team if you went and got him.
Right, and how many teams are starting Josh Dobbs this week? Because he's been on their bench for or they could be their QB1.
Yeah.
Okay, but he might have been on their bench for QB2 for just this week.
He's been solid. He's been
He's been solid every week.
Yeah, and my third player who I picked up 2 weeks ago, I was pretty proactive with this guy. Again, bad team, but again, you're looking for opportunities, and when it's a tough spot like we're in this week with all the buys, Jaleel McLaughlin for Denver, running back. He's averaging 13, 14 touches a week over the last 3 weeks, and he's gotten in the end zone twice. Denver's a bad football team, we know that, but somebody's got to touch the ball. Somebody's got to get touches.
Jamal isn't hurting. He's back though.
Javante.
Jamonte Williams.
Javonte Williams.
I'm thinking about the Saints. Sorry.
But still, this guy's been getting his 12 to 14 touches each week and over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
So he's still a part of the offense.
Well, Peyton likes 2 running back systems.
Yeah. So that's another guy
Spread
that
around.
is probably available in about half your leagues this week for
If you're lucky.
for Buymageddon. So those are my 3 guys. Again, just quick recap. Sam Howell, quarterback for the Redskins. Trey McBride, tight end for the Cardinals. And Jaleel McLaughlin, which is a running back for the Broncos. Go get those guys if you need maybe a flex spot this week. Johnny, who you got?
Well, and two of my 4 leagues, these guys play 12. You guys play 12 players in your
We're in
league?
12-team leagues.
Great, because I do 10. So if you're playing in 10, then there's going to be a few more players that they don't have, like who we just talked about. When I look through mine for QBs, Geno Smith is actually the top-rated quarterback with Howell right below him. Either one of these guys, I think, will come in here and at least help you out. When you get to this point, picking these people, I mean, it's all a hope and a prayer. Like, none of these guys are guaranteed to really do much. It's just kind of, you got to look at the matchups, and I do like Howell as well. Running back this week, Myles Gaskin just got picked up by the Rams, and he is supposedly
making his debut.
He is supposed to be already playing because the Rams have absolutely nobody on that team that is healthy at running back.
Didn't one guy just get robbed who was supposed to play? Or
Get him
something?
unreal.
gas. Get him gas.
I picked
Miles.
him up last night because I
Yeah.
needed a running back. I have injuries. There's a ton of people on injured reserve on my dang team, so I went out and got him. And at wide receiver, I like Josh Downs from Indianapolis. I think that you're going to get a lot of targets from that guy. And out of all 3 of these, I got more confidence in him than any of the other
That's
2.
my guy.
So
He's been on my DFS squad the last 2 weeks.
And just for future reference, I went to tight end. I don't see anybody there that I like except for Taysom Hill, and he's already played this week. So they do have him listed as a tight end, which was shocking.
So use my guy Trey McBride.
So that's where I would go.
Jump
I mean,
on,
that's
baby.
the best one there. So
See, you need to listen to our advice. You're right here next to the advice.
Yes.
Take Trey McBride
Share
for
it.
crying out loud.
3 brains are better than 1. Andrew, who you got this week?
My number 1 pickup is Keontae Ingram. He's only owned in about 25% of spots, but the Cardinals need a running back, and he's listed ahead of DeMarcolo on the depth chart. The only reason the first week back that DeMarcolo got the taps is Ingram missed the first 4 or 5 games with a neck injury, so he didn't have much practice.
Is
so
it
he only got
DeMarcolo or is it or is it Delamarco?
is it Delamar? I don't. Maybe.
It's a long D
Yeah, it's a
word.
long name.
He's a guinea either way. So.
Hey.
And last week,
I'm half offended.
Ingram outsnapped him 60-40, and I think it's going to go a little bit more this week, I think, as he's getting back. So for him, he was my number 1 pickup for running back. For a second running back, if you really are in desperate need, you can get Harris from Buffalo. Because Damian Harris got hurt, so Murray's going to be the only back behind James Cook, and he's going to probably get the touchdown or 2 because they're playing the Patriots, so that's probably going to be a high-scoring, positive green script, so you could probably get 10
I
to
just
12
cut him.
10 to 12 points from him.
And that's what you're looking for, again, because we're just trying to fill a flex
This isn't
spot.
a guy for the rest of your year. This is
This
for
is
the next 3 weeks when you're having
You're desperate.
14
You need-
teams on a bye
you
in
need
the next
12
3
points
weeks.
out of your flex spot, and this is who you're going
Yeah,
after.
listen, there's a methodology to this, okay? It's watch your matchups. You know that your players you're going to be getting aren't necessarily going to be high volume players, but you get as high a volume touches as you can, targets, carries, whatever. And you get ones, especially the ones that are touchdown dependent. Okay.
And as a wide receiver, my first one was Brandon Powell. He got 6 targets last week, 6 the week before. There is no Justin Jefferson. If they're going to be down or close, so they're going to be throwing. With Jordan, I'm still not super sold on KJ Osborne all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when they go to 3 receiver sets, Powell's going to get, like I said, if you get 7 targets from your third wide receiver or your flex on a week with all these buys, you'll be happy with that.
100%.
See what he can do.
You can say fucking buys. No, you're not.
and
You're
him and
not going to
Osborne are
curse.
getting the same amount of
Yeah.
targets, 6 about a piece.
Yeah,
so.
and they're getting the same snap share,
Yeah.
so there. And then for QB, obviously Sam Howell. I know he's getting picked up a little bit more now because he's had a few good games in a row.
Yep.
The other quarterback, I forgot it off the top of my head, that I picked up is, believe it or not, and he sucks, and it was one of his plays before, but he's been getting 16 to 20 points a game.
Baby.
Devin Ritter.
Yeah.
3 out of his last 4 games, he's gone over 20 points.
Hell yeah.
He did have a 6-point
He was
sneaker in
also
there.
You know who he's
Those
thrown
games.
to? One of your favorite receivers,
Jonnu,
Drake London.
and Jonnu Smith, baby. He's my DFS king, Jonnu Smith.
Drake London, 8 catches, I think,
Playing
the last
Tampa
2
Bay.
weeks.
Tampa Bay's defense is all right, but like I said, he's getting points. He's not very good, but they're having to throw because they're down, and it's a good roll of the dice.
He's even made Pitts relevant.
Yep.
Pitts is
How did that happen?
Pitts is
Be
playing
careful
well.
with that, though.
Pitts is third in air yard. No,
Yeah,
Waller's third.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
so again,
Big boy gets down the field.
he's on your roster for 1 week, and then you can kick him back to the curb. But he might not. He might get you 6 points, but he might get you 25, like he's done 2 of the last 3 weeks.
If you look at Ritter away and home, which I did last night because I thought about picking him, if he was home, I was 100% going to do that
All
and say
over
pick
him.
Ritter. When he's away, he can't get more than 7 fantasy points, and they're playing away right now.
Tampa and
so-
Atlanta is pretty close. Same
Well,
area, strip club, same.
Right. Listen, his
Ybor
head
City.
coach.
Yeah,
Downtown, yeah.
It's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Well, and listen, his head coach, I put him on that cerebral level of like a McVay or McDaniel. Okay, he is a really, really smart guy, and he uses a lot of psychology. Arthur Smith.
He has a very punchable face.
He has very punchable face. He's very,
That's a
he's
good
very,
point, yeah.
he's very nerdy.
He has a very
Arthur.
punchable face.
Come here, Arthur.
He's very nerdy. He's a little snarky. Okay, he's one of those guys that acts like he knows more than everybody else in the room. Have you seen his interview? His interview on the NFL
He must
Network
if he's
with-
throwing to Jonnu Smith instead
Oh, yeah.
of Drake
Oh,
London,
yeah,
Bijan
he's-
Robinson, and Kyle Pitts. That's very smart.
He
guy.
is absolutely dropping the rock on Bijan Robinson. I'm like, how come that guy doesn't have 10 more carries a game or 10 more touches a game?
Yeah, it's aggravating.
He's running routes more than he's getting carries.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not what
Right.
you do
That's
out of your
nuts.
8th pick running back.
out of the draft,
Yes,
yeah.
Right.
Maybe I don't know as much because he is an NFL coach and I'm not, but just think that maybe he should run the ball more.
Right.
He's only averaging like 5.
Well, listen,
yards a carry.
Arthur
Nothing-
Smith-
nothing great.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith was a very good quarterback coach because he saved Ryan Tannehill's
No,
career.
Derrick Henry
Okay.
saved Ryan Tannehill's
Right.
career.
Well, no, but Arthur Smith helped Ryan Tannehill's career. Really
Julio
did.
Jones too.
And yeah, so what you have is a situation where he can get a quarterback right. Can he get the rest of the team right? Okay, I think he's smart enough to rely on his coordinators, though. I really do because he's got good coordinators. He's got a pretty good defense, but he's totally missing the ball on Bijan Robinson. That guy's a weapon. I mean, and they just do not get him the rock enough. So, but Desmond Ritter, back to him. Full circle. See how I did that?
That's my guy.
So that would be your quarterback, and that's it. That's the final analysis.
Those are the guys for waiver wires. Yeah, it's tough this week, guys.
Yep.
Season longs, we're about halfway through, so I think everybody pretty much has an identity of what their teams are.
Yeah. Projections are about 20 points down this week. Team projections from a normal week.
Oh,
if
for
you're in the
buys.
one,
Yeah.
because of all the buys.
You know, so that's where we're at. So there's a few games have to be played as well. You know, we talked about a couple of key games. There's key games every week, but you know we're going to break down a few of those games. One of the games that we talked about pre-show, which is a big one, is Lions Ravens.
Somebody's going to get hurt. That's a lot of hard hitting right
That's
there.
a big game. Lions are top 7 in offense and defensive stats across the board. They're for real.
Can they come back from the ghost of Justin Tucker?
It's a good question.
Because that was, I think, if I remember correctly, that was their second to last loss. And since that game, they had one loss last year and one loss this year. Since that game, when they turned the corner and they were down because of that. What was it? 64 yards.
64,
65.
yeah.
It was,
Unbelievable.
Huge, man.
Yeah. People, again, they're high on Detroit, and
They should be.
it's valid. Yeah, 100%. But I think Baltimore is quietly looking at this game going, you know what? Our defense is pretty good too. And we got a pretty good squad over here. And let's go just by player. You taking Lamar Jackson or Jared Goff?
this year?
Yeah, this year?
Well, again, but don't look at the team. Don't look at. I'm just going out to tomorrow's game, Sunday. Suiting up. You got 2 guys going
Home
out
or
there.
away?
You're picking a quarterback. Yeah.
Over
It all matters. It all matters.
Well, tomorrow's game's in Baltimore.
yeah, but
so
they played last week away, I believe.
tomorrow's
Detroit,
game's in
300.
Baltimore. We're talking about tomorrow's game. So Baltimore is a home team looking at Detroit coming in, and everybody's talking about Detroit. Nobody's talking about Baltimore. And I think Baltimore puts that on the bulletin board. And I think Baltimore tomorrow puts a smack on Detroit. Not in the sense where they're going to beat them by 30 points, but they're going to pretty much do what they want to do tomorrow offensively. I think Baltimore can. And their defense is hopefully going to play with a chip on their shoulder because, again, everybody's talking about the other side.
I think Detroit has the better roster.
Yep.
Really? But at the
yeah.
quarterback
Overall,
Yes.
yes.
Overall.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm taking Lamar Jackson at home tomorrow, and that's my little prelude to that game. I think Baltimore is quietly still probably the best team in the division. Cincinnati, again, we're hoping they're going to make that turnaround, but I'm still not convinced about Burrow. The Steelers, we know how I feel about
listen,
them.
I hope you're right. I'm heavily vested.
Where's
in,
your Matt Canada T-shirt?
Yeah, where's your Matt Canada T-shirt?
I burnt them
That's
both.
it. It's right there. It's olive drab.
Yeah, I set them both on fire.
I mean,
Why would they not get rid of that?
I don't know why. Loyalty.
Yeah, you said it yesterday.
Oh,
Sometimes
my God, now they're gonna
there's
start-
loyalty to a fault.
Oh no! Listen, I'm on board with that. But I've been that way about Tomlin for the last.
No,
3
I think
seasons.
Tomlin always is around 500. He's always there, but this offense is just boring and
It's putrid.
bad.
Yeah, I think I'm on Baltimore just again because I think that they're the quieter team right now.
I was going to say, what is this? A friggin' Steelers support group all of a sudden?
I know,
it breaks
I kinda
out.
feel bad.
Hi, my name is Matt.
My offensive coordinator is Matt Canada, and I feel terrible for it. Yeah, so
Yeah, I'm
tomorrow,
on Baltimore too.
I'm
I
on
got them a
Baltimore.
lot on leagues. I got a lot of Jackson. I
Yeah.
got a lot of Andrews.
I'm on Baltimore.
Wrong.
I'm on the same
Detroit,
side.
me and you? Yeah, me and
All right,
you
you
are
guys
both
are on
on
Detroit.
Detroit.
All right, fair enough. Buffalo, New England.
What do you know?
This is perhaps the career of Belichick. Or are we
Yeah.
watching it end tomorrow?
No, but this year, this is his
beginning
last
of
year,
the
guys.
end.
It
I'm
has
not
to be.
saying they fire him after tomorrow's game, but is this just another step towards seeing how futile New England really is?
I think this could be the end of Mac Jones. I think they could go to Malik Cunningham
Oh,
afterwards.
Malik
100%.
Play a little bit of that,
Cunningham.
little bit of
Yeah.
that razzle dazzle. And they're going to run Stevenson and Elliott into the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was another one I didn't say, but I did pick up Ezekiel Elliott in 3 leagues because he looks better than he has, and I just think that Mac Jones ain't it.
His
And
usage rate is going up too.
I think they're gonna get to that point like they did. Remember, do you remember the first 5 weeks of a couple of years ago when Brady was suspended and then Jimmy G got hurt and they had to bring in Jacoby Brissett right off of after he was drafted and he was like a 5th round rookie and all they did was run the ball 50 times a game.
Yep.
I think that's what they're going to do with Malik Cunningham, who was kind of like a Jacoby Brissett coming out, a running quarterback before they did. Same schools, NC State, Louisville type deal. And I think that we're going to see that happen.
It's the same
I
shit
think
they
this
did
could
with
be
Cam
the
Newton.
end. Yeah, I think this could be the end of Mac Jones more than Belichick.
Right. Well, here's the thing on Buffalo's side. They're missing 2 defensive tackles.
Well, their whole defense got hurt. Milano's hurt.
Ed
Tremere
Oliver.
White's
Ed
hurt.
Oliver's
They can't
hurt.
stop the run either. They're letting 5.2 yards a carry.
Yeah,
and
so
attempts.
that's
and voodoo dolls work.
Guy,
They
I got
really
news
do.
for
I
you.
got a collection.
I'm taking New England tomorrow.
Against the spread, I am, but
I'm
not
t-
to win the game.
No, I agree with that. I agree with
Yeah.
that. Only because New England will find a way to lose that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do think what you're saying about the game script and about how the
Yeah.
injuries on Buffalo's
with
side of the ball, and there's a lot of desperation on New England's side.
I hope they both lose.
I'm on New England's side plus the points in that game.
It's
tomorrow.
tough just because I would normally be 100% with you guys, but because of how bad Buffalo looked on Monday night against the Giants and how they got saved by a terrible
Penalty call.
and not even that,
No call.
just not
A no
knowing.
call,
no,
yeah.
no, not even that. Not knowing what to do when you have the ball on the
Oh,
2-yard line
yeah,
at the end of halftime,
yeah, yeah.
and calling a running play
Dable's-
with
yeah.
18 seconds left, whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah.
With
your
that,
torturing quarterback.
all they have to do is get a kick a field goal there, and then they kick a field goal right there, win the game, and it doesn't even come down to that.
Right.
So what are you saying? You're picking New England with us?
No,
or-
I'm taking Buffalo because I think that they looked so bad and they're going to be so determined and so they've got to put pedal to the metal because they know that they got away with one. I think this is where they come out, and this is how we always talk about Buffalo doing this.
Yeah.
I think this
This
is
is the beginning.
here.
Okay, fair. Johnny?
I already said it.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
on New England.
I'm still
Yeah,
with New
I'm
England.
on New
Yeah, I
England,
just
too.
think they find a way to keep it a little bit closer than 8.5 points or whatever it might be now. But I did it at 8.5.
Now, this
down to
next
7.5.
this next
Okay.
game is Johnny's got an interesting take on this game, but Chargers Chiefs. The Chiefs defense this year has given up 15 points a game. I think the story this year that's not being told is
Their
the
defense.
defense. Yeah, 100%. Parlay it to fantasy. Patrick Mahomes is averaging about 20 fantasy points a week over the last 5 weeks. That's not really good for a quarterback. It's average, and it's certainly not good for
Where
a
you
Patrick
drafted him.
Mahomes.
It's not good for where you drafted him.
But again, you expect more out of
Yeah.
the team, but yet they're still getting the same results. And the reason why
For
is
those of you
because
that
the
drafted him in the
defense.
first round,
And their defense has been good. They're getting pressure. They're getting great coverage on the back end. The Chargers cannot block anybody. Still, it's a problem that they have not resolved over the last several years. Their offensive line always ranks in the bottom 5, and it's no different this year. Injuries on the offensive side for them, even though Eckler's back again with Mike Williams not being there, they're just never 100%.
Stop making excuses for Justin Herbert.
I know he's
just
your boy.
Not very good.
And he's got Justin Herbert, who on somebody's radar doesn't think he's a good quarterback. But
No,
whatever
I don't think he's as good as everybody says.
possible.
He's a Mario Cristobal quarterback.
I think the Chiefs, similar to what you said about the Bills, how teams have the ebb and flows, and even though the Chiefs are winning, you can probably say they haven't played their best football yet. Maybe this is the week where the Chargers are the ones that just get stepped on. I'm all over the Chiefs this week. I think the Chiefs put a smack on the Chargers. Johnny has a little different perspective on this.
The reason why I think this game is going to be a little bit closer is simple history here. There's just certain things that happen that you can't explain that seem to keep happening no matter what the teams are. I'm going to use the Dolphins and the Patriots over the last 25 years as a clear example. We've had 2 Miami miracles in Miami against Tom Brady where we should not have even have been in those games when you look at the teams on paper. Just weird, odd things happen. These games are always close, guys. It doesn't matter who's playing. If this offense and that defense, they are always close. And just like I told you last week on my live, the Jets were my pick of the week to cover the spread against Philly. This is my pick of the week for the Chargers to somehow, some way, miraculously keep this game under 5.5 points. Because it is going to take something like that. What Maz just said is 100% true. There's really no reason to really pick them except for the fact that history will just tell you it doesn't matter. It just doesn't. This game is going to probably end up being close, and the Chargers do have a weird, odd chance of maybe pulling this one out.
34-31, somebody.
That would be enough.
I will say Mahomes is 8-2 in his career against the Chargers, so he does win a lot.
I'll give you that.
Their one loss, they got blown out one time, but that's because Chad Henne.
But how many times of those 8-2 did he cover the spread? That's what I'm saying. Of course, you might win the
Listen,
game
I'll
today,
be
but are
honest,
you going
the
to keep it
Chiefs
under
this year,
5.5
and I
points?
think this is true. I think they've only covered 2 games against the spread this year.
See what I mean? They're not very good this year against the spread either.
I heard
so
that last week. Whether last week's not figuring it, I don't know.
Yeah, they covered against the Broncos.
I think they've covered
'Cause everyone
twice
does.
coming into last week. So they're under 500 for covering.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been their typical MO over the last year or two. I think they've been
No, it's been that way for about 2.5 years.
Right.
They're like the Lakers. They're like Duke. The public loves them.
Right.
So
The
the spreads
lines
are
are
getting
inflated.
inflated because they know that they're going to get the
Yeah.
bets on them. Where
Yeah.
you got to figure they're probably 1 to 1.5 points more than they should be if
Fair.
it was any other teams.
That's good advice. too.
Because people watch them. People like to see scoring. People know Mahomes. So the average bettor wants to take the Chiefs minus. They don't want to take the Broncos plus 12 or another team because it's
You're
not sounding as
rooting-
fun.
You're rooting for the more popular, the
Yeah.
more trendy.
Chargers,
that makes
baby.
sense, too.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So basically, we've got. Let's see, what was the line? 5.5 in that?
yeah,
game?
that's when I picked it. It was 5.5. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a double-digit win.
I think I'm going to stay with the Chiefs plus the minus the 5.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The shifts.
The last game, guys, and probably the best game of the weekend, at least in terms of importance, talent on the field. This is a no-brainer. This is the Dolphins and the Eagles. I'm going to give my quick analysis because I know you guys are all going to disagree.
Get ready to throw things at him.
I'm on the Eagles this week, and I'll say this because,
Boo!
listen, the Dolphins' offense is prolific. All right, the numbers, the stats, all the guys are just blowing up all the categories. I get that. But again, sustainability for that sort of thing is not commonplace. We haven't seen it. And I
That's
think
why they're running the ball so much.
and I haven't seen it. So when you go against the teams that are good defensively, like the Eagles, like the Bills, that can slow down, maybe for a lack of better analogies, or at least kind of, maybe not allow the Dolphins to do what they will, run their will, then the game seems to be a little bit slower, seems a little more fair. Seems like the defenses can adjust. The Eagles, they're deep, on especially up front. They run 8-9 guys on the line.
Yeah, but they're the third worst pass defense in the league.
Which they can be beat that way too, and they have some injuries on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the Eagles as a whole, as a unit, they're a good defense. So whether or not there's adjustments that are made or not, I don't know. I'm just saying I like the defensive matchup here for the Eagles. I like the team. I like him at
And
home.
Lane Johnson is out, which is big. Bradley Chubb has been getting better. He's finally worth that first round pick.
I'll let you guys go, but I'm just
I'm not
telling
saying
you.
I don't.
I like the Eagles in this game.
It's
And-
a close game, and
Yeah.
Miami needs to hang tough, and whether they win or lose, they got to keep it close. Otherwise, it's going to be they beat up on bad teams, and
Right,
they can't.
that's
beat
the
big
narrative,
teams.
and you don't want that narrative. And I'm not saying that. Dolphins are a great football team. But again, matchups matter.
Yeah.
Situations matter. Environment matters. And it's tough to win in Philly. And Philly is also another team we can say, just like we said about the Chiefs and also the Bills, dominant teams in the league that really haven't hit their
No.
stride. And the Eagles could be this again.
As a Dolphins fan, I would have felt more confident had they squeaked out a win against the Jets than lose to the Jets, because now the Eagles are coming in motivated, saying, "Shit, we lost.
They're
Fuck,
hungry.
we can't do this. We gotta tighten it up." Where if you're coming in at 6-0, you're feeling, "Oh, we got away with another one." You're not as tough. So as a Dolphin fan, I really wanted that, even though. I hate the Jets anyways, but I really did want Philly to win just for that simple fact is they would be a little maybe less motivated than they are now.
You're chomping at the bit over there for your Dolphins.
Me? No, I'm not chomping. Listen,
I will say this is I'm going to bet the over. I will not take the side because I'm a Dolphins fan and I don't want to take one side or the other, but I will bet the over. I
What's
think
the
it could be
over-under on this?
52 and a
Oh,
half.
hell yeah. This should be 34, 35, 36.
Unless
yeah,
something happens with the weather that I'm not aware about in Philly.
well, the weather's going to be bad in the Northeast, but I don't know how far south.
Windy, so
No,
but
the only game with wind this
Buffalo,
weekend
New
I think, is
England,
the
right?
Cleveland game.
I thought Buffalo, New England had some wind too.
Maybe it does.
Where are they
but
at? Chicago, Cleveland? I think it's. Where are
It's
they
got to
at?
be Great Lakes effect stuff.
I'd have to see it.
Yeah.
By the way, for weather, and I'll throw this out there because it does help. It certainly, I use it for baseball all year long because whether you play or not, it's important. Football, they play regardless, but you do want to be aware of the elements. Kevin Roth, weather, works for, I think, Roto Grinders or Roto Wire, one of these sites.
Kevin's at Indy,
And
so
he
don't
does
worry.
a complete analysis of all the weather for all the games. You just click them and it's spot on. The baseball, he's solid. Football, he's watching it all week. And weather plays a difference. But let's just real quick talk about weather. The only thing that I feel makes a difference is wind.
Correct. I was going to say weather doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Wind makes
Wind
a
makes
difference.
a difference. So
rain, snow. That's
remember,
fine.
the offense knows where they're going.
Yeah.
So the advantage is on the offense because they're
Yeah.
making the first move.
Yeah,
The
maybe they
defense has to
slip.
adjust.
Maybe they slip here and there, but it doesn't
Yeah.
happen as often with the different
it's
types
wind.
of cleats.
Wind is the biggest factor.
When anything over 15 miles an hour, just stay away from. Take the running backs or stay away.
Yeah, 15-20 sustain, and there's I think 2 games that are like that today, or tomorrow. So check your weather forecast. It's very important in football as well.
And the Vikings and Chicago game last week was a clear example of that, man. Neither quarterback could
Yeah, they
throw
struggled.
the ball in that wind.
And
man.
we're getting into the winter months when
Yep.
weather is going to be a factor. So make sure you've got weather on your radar as well. No pun intended. So
Okay, and now here's sports. All right, so I'm not necessarily chomping at the bit of this, but there's been precedence here. Okay, let us look back 25 years to the St. Louis Rams with a rookie quarterback forced into starting because the high-priced veteran Trent Green got hurt. So you got Kurt Warner, nobody from, where was it, Iowa State he played?
Warner?
Yeah, Kurt Warner, he was bagging groceries the year before that.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of a sudden, the first 4 or 5 games, they're lighting up the scoreboard like a pinball machine. Oh, they haven't played anybody. And then they go into Candlestick Stadium and they knocked San Francisco's dick in the dirt. Okay, so guess what? There's always that possibility. That's why they play the games. So if that happens, I'm going to be insufferable next week. If we eke one out, I'm still going to be insufferable. I'm tired of everybody's excuses. I'm tired of the Dolphins' excuses. I'm tired of everybody's excuses. The detractors and the haters want to cry about they haven't played anybody, and the team wants to cry about injuries, but they haven't. They haven't. This is a different team.
Just enjoy the ride. It's
Yeah,
been a
exactly.
long time.
I'm trying to tell people that.
I'm not going to be insufferable. I'm not going to say much. I just want to enjoy the ride because I've been dealing with dog shit for a decade and a
Dog
half.
shit and mediocrity, totally.
Joe Philbin, Adam Gase, Cam Cameron,
Yep.
Tony Sperano, R.I.P., was a nice guy, not a good coach. I rode dog shit for a decade and a half. I like the coach. I like the way it's going. So I just am enjoying every Sunday that I can watch the games.
And remember,
And it's
Philly
gonna be a
hasn't played
track meet.
anybody either. Philly, when you look at Philly's schedule and who they've beaten, they haven't played
They've
like.
beaten about a bunch of nobodies too.
Yeah, so it's not like you can just
The
say that about
Giants?
the Dolphins.
Yeah. It's
strength of schedule is an arbitrary thing anyway because from week to week, again, you have one team that's much better on paper than the other. They lose by 10.
You can only play the team that you play.
I know,
Right.
Yeah.
So-
And then next week, that same team goes out and loses by 30. I mean, it's just there's
That's
no
it.
consistency.
Yeah,
to that.
Buffalo should have lost to the Giants, and the Giants have lost by 40 on TV twice. So
exactly.
well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. 2 benchmarks here, okay? Would the Dolphins be more likely to throw for 400 yards or rush for 200 yards?
against the
Throw for
Phillies,
400.
Against Philly.
Well,
Throw
no.
all day.
I
yeah.
don't. It's tough.
Throwing?
You can't run on
They're
Philly.
so
You
soft
can
in the
throw.
middle of the field where we're at our best.
Yeah.
Like we have a
Okay.
potential to go 350, 400.
Because you
today
know
for sure.
McDaniel likes to go against conventional wisdom sometimes. Okay,
Yeah, but that front is too tough. He's smart enough to know.
I understand, but our lateral motion game is bananas.
It is.
Okay, and I don't care how badass those big boys are in the middle of on their defensive line, Reddick and the kid from Georgia.
Maybe if we have.
I don't care how badass they are. They cannot run a 4-4 to the sideline. Okay, or 4-3 to the sideline.
Carter can. He runs like
Carter.
a 4. Carter can.
Don't say his name. He's
can.
the boogeyman.
That's why they
He is
lost.
playing,
That's
right?
why they lost last week against the Jets.
He is.
Is simply because of him, because he didn't play.
Yeah.
That
Well,
guy is a.
He got nicked, right? Yeah, he got nicked. He got taken out. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. I think that the Dolphins are going to try to go against the conventional wisdom, and they're going to try to run the ball. But eventually, if it gets to the point where they can't successfully run the
Is
ball
Wilson
and control
playing?
the
Do we
game,
know yet?
Yes, they
Yes.
just they picked
Yes.
him up and they took him off of IR. I
I
picked
know,
him up. Also.
I know his window. Open,
his
but
window is open, but they're thinking about starting him because he's 100%.
I think we're running Tyreek also with the motion you're mentioning. We need
Yeah.
to stop doing so much of that with just him, man. We are running that guy's thighs into the ground, man. You saw him last
We
week,
got
like
other
have to
guys.
hobble over.
Listen, what we're doing is on the micro from slot to slot, we're running Wilson. Cedric Wilson's doing the motion now.
We got to start doing it with Waddle too, man. We got to share that.
Waddle's
responsibility.
going to be taking the. I saw
Yeah.
a lot of the out motion by Waddle last week. I foresee a 6 to 8 catch game out of him.
Waddle.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, because he is the middle guy. He is the.
He's got to have a breakout game.
He's a very, and that's what I mean. 6 to 8
gotta
catches.
have
If he goes 8 for 120 and 2 touchdowns, would
I'm
you
good.
think that's a breakout?
I'm taking that. Yep.
Tyreek's
Okay.
on pace for 2,370 something.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Does he get to 2,000?
Yeah. Easily.
Oh yeah, 2,000. Yeah, but not
by
2,300.
game
I don't
16.
think.
He's going to want to do it by game 16.
He's got to stay healthy, man.
It's just about health.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
simple.
running his thighs into
Simple.
the ground like this, man. They are.
Simple.
I'm on the under. There's a reason why that's that marker itself.
I
at
understand
2,000
that.
yards is, that's,
I understand
there's a
This
that.
guy's
reason
a
why.
different animal, man.
I get it, but again,
And
football is a
I
lot
saw
of
Calvin
variables.
Johnson play that year. He rang up 1,936,
Yeah.
was it?
I
saw
mean,
him
if
play.
anybody can
Justin
do it,
Jefferson got
obviously.
to like what 1950 or
What did Cup
80,
just get? Cup just got 1,900.
1940,
Also,
I think.
Yeah, but
1930.
that still didn't catch Megatron though. Megatron's the guy who owns the.
what is it?
record.
1968. What did he get?
1963, 1968, something like that.
Damn, he was
a
that
lot.
close to.
I mean, that guy was just throw the ball anywhere near him, he's going to get
a
it.
different type of freak.
By the way,
Yeah.
speaking of your Dolphins game, Eagles just signed Julio Jones. Right?
Julio Jones.
That could help a little bit.
That
Yeah,
doesn't make
well,
any
that-
sense to me.
He's like 41.
Not even that. They
What
have
is
AJ Brown already. They have Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
They
but-
have Dallas Goddard.
He's just
They
another
got
red zone
Swift.
potential
You
guy.
said it all right there. Okay, you said it all right there. You have Devontae and AJ. They were besties when he was in Tennessee. AJ Brown was his bestie. That was his man. That was his boy. And he stayed for what, 3 seasons?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and-
is this more like a Rogers and Cobb,
Yeah,
a Rogers
it's
and Cobb
it-
thing? I'm just bringing
yeah.
you along for the ride.
And then,
type
and then
thing?
of course, Julio is a what? He's an Alabama wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and Devontae.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think.
mean-
I just don't think it adds any.
Yeah.
I don't think he has
Value,
any,
right?
I don't think he has anything to the. And maybe
Okay,
to
well
the
maybe
locker
it's
room.
depth, locker room.
They
Yeah.
have Zacchaeus or whatever. He's fast. And then
Zacchaeus. Yeah.
Quez
Zacharias.
Watkins is always open. He just can't catch the ball. But if he learns how to
Yeah.
catch the ball, he'll be great. I just think that
His
I
name
don't
is
know.
Quez.
I think you have the AJ Brown factor. You have the Alabama factor. A lot of goodwill there. He's probably playing cheap. You know, the veteran minimum.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
guess
he's playing because he wants to play, and now he's going to have 2 weeks where he's going to practice and get back into shape. But knowing him, Julio Jones is going to be in shape just going in there because that guy's
Yeah,
he's a freak. So
The only
As a
thing
Dol-
this does to me is it delays his Hall of Fame induction.
yeah, essentially,
Yeah,
essentially.
that's something that's a first ballot
True.
Hall of Famer, no question.
I saw that dude in a preseason game in Miami, and he caught 2 touchdown passes, both jump balls in the end zone. Just 50-50, all throw it out there. And
Just-
Matt Ryan was like, "Here."
Just some breaking news in case anybody's wondering is they named Brian Hoyer to start over Aiden O'Connell.
No.
So in case you guys, because Aiden O'Connell was the rookie start last time, so I think that moves Jacoby Myers up the board a little bit because he's a better passer.
and that moves Devontae Adams out to the trade block.
But
I read that was a massive possibility last night, and I started him in one of my FanDuel leagues, man.
so-
Hoyer, yeah.
and
Good
then
point.
Pat Fryermuth was just moved to IR. Yeah.
It hurts.
Who scares you more today?
I had
Brown or
I had
Smith?
to get mad at a tissue for that because Fryermuth is his boy. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, Brown is the better receiver, but Smith, I mean, is the more explosive receiver, but Smith is the guy you want on third
Like
and
for
seven.
our defense, does Smith scare you more with speed, or does a massive, big, bulky receiver scare us more today?
It's always AJ Brown is always going to scare me more because he's always one play from a 70-yard touchdown. Devontae Smith doesn't usually break those. But he's the guy on 3rd and 7 you got to look for. But AJ Brown is, he's not Randy Moss, but he has that type of capability where he could have 4 catches for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Devontae Smith's not that guy, but Devontae Smith is 8 catches, 122
yards,
yards,
yeah.
and 7 first downs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's big
Yeah,
catches.
and that's one thing I have to say I've been very impressed with because everybody made a lot out of his weight, a lot out of his slight build.
But he knows how to get down.
And
Marvin Harrison-esque.
Yeah, exactly. But and the kid knows where the soft spots are.
Yeah.
Period. He's
And
a
then he
great
catches
route
it and he
runner.
goes down. That's it's
Business
smart.
decisions.
Yeah, he's smart. No need to get those extra 2 yards and
Right.
risk fumbling getting hurt. Get the 2 yards next time with the.
We debate Waddle versus Smith all you want. It's
First
1 and
down,
1A.
Since we're talking about the Eagles, I want your guys' opinion on the most controversial play in football. Should it be banned or should it not be
No,
banned?
that play.
The tush push.
You're not in illegal formation to start
Correct.
the play.
It's just like baseball. I was mad that they got rid of the shift. I was
Right.
mad about all that. Be better. Learn to stop it, or let them
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it.
I'm with you.
Use a
better.
defensive wedge the same way.
Be better.
I mean,
Let's not talk about shifts because I'm anti-shift.
It's
for
gonna
baseball,
listen.
but
You use a defensive wedge. You
Why
learn how to
teach a hitter how to hit to the opposite field?
it's not for
Yeah,
the hitters.
exactly.
It's not. You're not trying to make the hitters better. You're trying to set a fair playing standard because in every other
better.
sport, in
here we go.
in every other
Here we
sport,
go.
You don't like it?
I am anti-shift.
Why?
Baseball.
Bro, that's a strategy.
So-
Why won't you take
gonna
strategy?
tell
So,
you
are,
why.
so are you
Because in
can
every
can we
sport-
line up 4 cornerbacks on 4 wide receivers on one side and only 1 on the other? Why isn't it allowed that it has to be just 2 and 2? Why are you allowed to line up
In
in trips?
every sport-
disadvantage because you don't know where they're going.
No, in every sport, you have rules as to where the players line up. Every sport has that. Basketball, 3 seconds in the paint. Football, you have to have 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. You can't have motion. Soccer, you can't have offsides. Every sport has parameters for players and their positionings. Baseball should be no different. You have a shortstop. There's a position called shortstop. It's not to the right of second base.
Why?
Because it's not. Because that's where the second baseman goes.
You have a pitcher. He pitches the ball. He's
The
where he's
right
supposed to be.
fielder doesn't put on a catcher's mask because he's in fucking right field. That's how this goes. You have a position, you play your position. It's always been that way. I understand.
Teach the hitter to do better.
Now you pissed him off.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's
them up.
Don't talk about baseball.
Teach
Yeah.
teach the batter to do
You
better.
have hurt the game. I understand how you can have an argument and say, and I agree with that because when I look at situations where
You know what would stop the shift? Bunting the fucking ball.
I get that.
Down the right field about 3
but
times.
nobody wants you. But you have to look at the whole thing, the whole package. I understand that I would get angry at times too. How
I
you
knew
have
the minute baseball was mentioned, the 2 of you were going to
Bro, they
go
exploded. Me and you are
nuts.
just like, yo, let them go.
When
Absolutely.
you have-
I just use it as an example.
Bananas.
I just use it as an example with this tush push because they're looking at banning that, and the only thing I can think of is banning. That's like would say, okay, you can't.
I'm on board with getting better. I'll give you an example. In baseball, when they decided to put a guy at second base for extra innings, and you'd have teams that would still go to the 12th and 13th inning and couldn't push a run across.
Yeah, not a big difference.
No, that to me, that's frustrating. It's frustrating when they're in the shift and guys were not taking advantage of it because they were putting a ball in play. I get that side of it too, and I'm on board with that. I agree. If I was a hitter, I want to get on base. But that's not what the game is, and that's not what people want to see. So baseball woke up after 1,000 years and decided that they could change rules within their game. And they could try and make things better
Yeah, it made it way
for the
worse.
game. And no, it has not. The pitch clock has made things better.
Oh,
I
no,
was
I'm talking
against
about the
that.
shift.
The shift has
So you
made
cannot
things better.
shift in baseball anymore?
No, now you have to have so many people behind the second base, past the second base, or past the shift. Yeah, you can't shift now because too many batters were complaining about not being fair because they would hit a fucking
You're a
ball
professional.
to
Hit it
third
the other
base.
way. Find
Yeah,
a way to hit it the other
exactly.
way.
Nobody's complaining. It was just the fact that there were less runs being
I don't
scored in
even
the
watch
game.
baseball. I can't believe
And you wanted more activity in the game. That's what the reason for baseball making the rule changes were to speed up the game, put more action into the game.
Because people people making $30 million a year could hit the fucking ball
Yeah, that's
on
what
the
I'm
right
saying.
side of
Dude, you're
second
a
base
pro.
instead of
Find
the
a way to
left.
hit the ball opposite field.
That's
You
like
hit doubles.
That's
all
like
day.
telling Steph Curry, you can't shoot threes from here. You have to go on the other side and shoot a three. You
Has
can't shoot it
nothing
on
to
the left
do
side of the
with it.
court.
And you're
You got to
missing
shoot
the-
it from the right side of the court.
You're missing the point. This isn't about the players
Hockey
that
goal.
complained.
Oh, you're right-handed. You can only shoot from the right side.
Well,
can't
you
shoot
keep
from the left
arguing
side.
and bring other sports up. The point is that this was not about the players who couldn't do it. It was about the game that was suffering because the players couldn't adjust. So you look at the bigger
So then
picture.
they can make the players adjust.
But you can't do that. You can't go into a player's
And-
head and tell them how to play.
And he keeps batting 190 and not getting the next contract.
And okay, but then the point is this was about the game. This wasn't about the 20 or so left-handed hitters that their average went up 30 points this year. It was about the game. They made an effort to make the game better, and they
made it worse.
implemented these rules to do so. And that's why they did
and it
it.
made it worse.
When
Which
did
is
this
what would
happen?
happen
This
in
year? Is this
yeah.
the first year they
Yeah.
started this, where you have to do this special shift thing?
And
in
if they
order
do
to
that
shift?
with the tush push, they don't make the NFL worse. Learn how to block it.
Would you take
Yeah,
motion
exactly.
out of football?
Learn how to defend
But
it.
the
Yeah.
difference between what you're saying with the tush push is they're not breaking any rules. There are in football. There's already rules established where you have to line up, and they're not breaking any rules. It's fair formation.
They weren't breaking any rules in baseball. They
Yeah,
changed
what
the
was the
rules,
shift breaking
so they would just
rules?
change the rules here. Is what I'm saying. There's no different. They're not. And were they breaking any rules in the shift?
There were no rules in place.
Okay, so there's no rules in place here to stop the tush push. The NFL was looking at it to make rules.
Why would they consider that? Why would now I'm not on board with it, but why would the NFL even consider making a rule
Because the
change?
defenses are saying we can't stop
No,
it.
because they want to make yes, ultimately, but because they feel like it'll make the game more fair. That's all. That's why the NFL
Yeah,
is
it's-
even
it's all about
considering that.
competition.
So we're making it fair instead of learning how to defend something.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
So it's not fair that Tyreek runs a. It's
I'm
not fair.
not. I don't fully agree. I'm
So-
partially on your side.
So it's not fair that Tyreek runs a 4.2 and other people run a 4.8. Are we? Do we have to
take
say?
motion out of football?
Is it
Can
three?
you not run any-
Do we have to
run
make
the
3
ball in
Mississippi
motion?
now? Does
Yes.
Tyreek have to count to
Yes.
3 Mississippi
Yes.
before he
grow,
can run?
You grow
to
the
make
grass.
it fair.
You grow the grass higher.
Tyreek counted 3 Mississippi. It's
Grow
not
the
fair that you
grass
can
out
run.
here.
I'm not. Listen, this you can look at every
Hey,
instance.
Travis Kelce, you're too tall. You have to go on your knees when you run a route because the other guy's 6 inches smaller. We have to make it more fair.
There are 1,000 examples of what you're saying, and I agree
Jason
with
Kelce,
it.
tie your hand behind your back. You can only use
Okay.
one hand. It's not fair that you're better at your position.
I agree with that, all that. But again, it's an effort. You can look at each instance. You can look at him being so dominant, Travis Kelce, and say his height is too much. And then people will go, well, other guys are tall too, and they'll dismiss that. When you have a
Hi,
sensible
Taylor.
argument, and you have a sensible
You
argument.
know she's watching. She's watching it.
Who's
she's
this?
watching.
Who's
Taylor Swift. She's watching.
F. Taylor Swift. All right, listen, we got DFS.
Well,
can't.
okay. First of all,
Those were great.
all right. Break. Neutral corners. Okay.
DFS.
Now listen, baseball guys. Okay.
my wife
Here's how you beat the tush push. Would anybody like to?
Yes, go
okay.
ahead.
Would you like my opinion about this? Well, good. I'm going to give it to you anyway because it's my fucking show. So. You beat the tush push by going to the Australian Rules Football League or to the Professional Rugby League over in Europe, and you say, I need a coach to consult and show me how to beat or to dominate a scrum. Okay, because that's what that is. It's a scrum. Okay, and oddly enough, they have 2 players that used to play professional rugby and Australian rules football on the team, and they also happen to be very instrumental in the tush push. What would that
Philly
be?
does. Philly
Yes,
actually has
yes,
oh, okay.
yes.
Did not know that.
Okay, so it's not an original idea. It's a rugby formation.
They'll figure it out,
Okay.
like they figured out the Wildcat, like they
Exactly.
figured out the whole. It'll
Exactly.
be somebody will be like, oh, put a guy here, and all right,
Or
we're good.
another defensive lineman
Right.
in the middle instead of a linebacker.
Here's
Oh,
a
like
new
hit the
wrinkle.
ball to the right side of the field.
Right,
But they don't do that. I'm
Here's,
telling you, they
here's
don't
a
do
new
it.
wrinkle that you may see come of this. Okay, here's a new wrinkle you may see come of this. How about the line up and fake the tush push?
Oh, yeah, throw a
and then-
pass. They're gonna do
not
that.
even a pass, a rollout. Everybody's here in the middle. Nobody's even the DBs are all up behind them.
Oh, they're going to do it
Okay,
in a,
so you
in a
run for the
playoff game,
corner.
and then they're going to run a pass on 4th and 1. And
Right.
Goddard's going to be
something
one
crazy
standing
like that.
by himself.
Something crazy like that. It's going to happen. Okay, and why are you going to see that? Because, once again, get you a rugby coach. Okay, go get me a rugby coach, maybe a head coach, somebody who knows a little bit about a scrum and how to beat a scrum or how to stalemate a scrum. Because in rugby, when you have a scrum, everybody's locked together. First of all, there's no separation and then hit. They lock shoulders and arm. Okay, so and then the ball gets passed backwards. Yeah, exactly.
It popped up on my news feed.
But the difference is
He
what you're
yelled
saying.
himself onto his own news
Guys,
feed.
this is how the offense knows where they're going. The defense
Right.
has to adjust.
Right.
So when the offense always has the first step towards a
Right.
direction, towards a
Well,
movement,
and that's
it's
what
always
I'm saying.
advantage offense.
But that's what I'm saying with a scrum, okay? In
They start
rugby,
equal.
They start connecting.
Yeah, right.
There's no
Yeah, but
there's
in-
no faking
right.
this.
Yeah, but in football, you
okay,
have
they have a,
separation.
foot to fake.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can snap it and then okay, everybody goes here. Okay, so you go get you a rugby coach. Or you go get you one of these punters that played rugby. Oh, this is how we do it over in New Zealand. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, get one of those guys. Okay, and figure it out on defense. How to do it. You know, you put 3 defensive tackles over top of the center, and then you put 2 defensive ends behind the defensive tackles, and then you outweigh their leverage. Okay, it's as simple as that. You have to match their formation, outweigh their leverage, and crush their ability. It's going to be strength on strength. And some teams are figuring that out. Some teams aren't. So I think what you said, they're going to figure it out. They're not going to ban it. Defenses are just going to figure out how to defend it. And for me,
Catch up.
for me, that I think we may see a good defense that'll figure out how to stop it with this game against the Dolphins. Because what do we have? We have a very innovative coaching staff. We have a very smart coaching staff, especially our head coach, who's smarter than all 4 of us put together. Okay, so maybe they'll take a shot at finding a defense that'll do that. And I would hire a rugby coach.
DFS. Let's
DFS?
We'll go
Can we take a break?
Take a break.
You got to pee or anything? Everybody good?
I'm not done talking
Don't
about
make
the shift.
You still wants to talk about baseball.
Because he doesn't know how to hit the opposite field either, I guess.
See, you're over there stewing and waiting for you. Like, just gonna say something. Just say something.
I just think it's funny.
I know. You all think it's hilarious.
I've been anti-banning the shift my whole.
Okay, well,
All year.
I'm anti talking about baseball when we're getting ready to talk about DFS. So DFS coming up next.
Let's do it.
Okay, in about a minute and a half, Gonzo Radio Sports Desk.
We live a pie on our day. We live a pie on our day.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
We better get going. God knows what the team is doing with just Farmer Fran watching them.
Dios me está Bobby Boucher on the video. Call that wrong way. You're a flame like Bobby Boucher dying.
Gonzo Radio.
There's more runs and more action. That
Because
was the
people
point.
that can't hit the opposite fields.
Whatever the reason are, that's the game. You got guys throwing BBs at
He just
100
says that
miles
because he's
an
a
hour.
Philly fan, and Kyle Schwarber is the main one that doesn't know how to hit to the other
He
side of the
actually
field.
has-
Is that it? Is this what
Kyle
we're doing
Schwarber
here?
this year had 45 home runs. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
what
he's still
side of
better.
the field it's on.
Better
Better what?
188.
His on base was 360.
That's fine. He's better.
12.
188.
God, who cares about that? And I agree, he should be at 240. But the bottom line is it made the game better.
No, it didn't.
That's the point of this.
This
It's
is
not-
the best segment. I'm
This is
dying
not
over
from
here.
individual
This is the
accomplishments.
best.
Let me tell you about my core 4. All right, are we on? Is this ding? Is this on?
You have any switch hitters in your core 4? We're gonna need them.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk.
We're doing a baseball show next week.
These people,
I'm coming to watch.
These people,
Take the
is
Diamondbacks today, plus
crazy.
118. They can hit the ball to all parts of the field.
Hater.
Oh my God.
Phillies are going to win that game. They're not going to
So,
win.
so
last night,
is there
walk-off.
any doubt
Wheeler,
that
Philly.
baseball is still America's pastime and passion? I mean, let's face it, DFS and rotisserie baseball was the precursor to fantasy football all day, every day, fantasy basketball all day, every day. And just to hear you two go back and forth. I mean, like when the camera cut and we went to break.
There you go. That's great
I was
stuff.
like, I'm going to produce a show, and I'm just going to go, I'm going to put the two of you on one camera, and I'm going to go, hey, how about that baseball stuff?
I felt like a cat between two pit bulls. I'm like, yo, just back up and let them go.
You were leaning backwards. You had your phone between the two of them going live, going back and forth. You're back there. You go like this. You're like,
I got the whole thing recorded. It's going up, guys. It's going up.
I'm like, oh my
Get the DFS. I
God.
gotta be somewhere at 2:30.
All right, defense, we're ready to go.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you with a little jocularity. He's
Shifty's got
places
something to
be.
do. So
All right, well then let's get to it. Matt, you start and don't say the B word.
my core four today, boys
Core
and
four,
girls.
That's not baseball.
Core four, DFS guys. Let's take down the Millie Maker, one of us, so we can at least mooch off the other if somebody does it. My core four today, I'm paying up a quarterback. Haven't done it all year. I'm going this year. I'm at Patrick Mahomes. We talked about it. I know you're on the Chargers, but their defense is terrible. Patrick Mahomes has yet to have that staple game where he's throwing 4 touchdowns. Kelsey's catching 2 of them. I think tomorrow's the game, but I'm paying up for him, so that's a big nut. He's got to get to 30 fantasy points.
He said no.
I'm paying down. I got a tight end for us. I mentioned him. Mr. McBride from Arizona. He outsnapped Zach Ertz last week. He's 2,600. That opens up a lot. You can get him, again, a guy at 2,600. We're looking for the 3X multiplier. He needs 4 catches for 40 yards. If he gets in the end zone for you, it's just a huge day. I'm paying up for the New England running back. Again, another guy that I've been waiting for. He's been solid. I think he's RB12 this year. Ramondre Stevenson, yeah. Buffalo Bills, we talked about. They have some injuries up front.
Ramondre.
And we talked about possible game script for the Patriots is going to be run. So that's good for me. And his price is pretty low. He's like the 17th or 18th price running back on DK. It's like 5,600. I'm paying up at the other spot though. I'm paying up for Jacobs tomorrow. Again, another game script. They're going to run. The Raiders are favored to win that game on the road, which is rare. So I'm all over Jacobs tomorrow as well. He's at 7,400. So combined, that puts me at 16,600, 23,700, about 24,000. It's almost half my salary. That's 3x times 24. I need 75 points combined from those guys tomorrow to get my 3x multiplier. I'm feeling pretty confident. So what do you got, Johnny?
Core 4 is going to be Tua this week in a shootout. I think if you take either one of these QBs, you're going to be all right with what they're costing.
Is that a Monday night game or a Sunday night game?
Sunday night.
Oh, okay, so now make sure you can use it because some of the DKs you can't use the
Dolphin
Dolphin
1 o'clock
game.
and 4 o'clock.
Okay, so if you're just doing and I did not realize we were doing a Core 4, so I'm running this off the top of my head. So I'll probably let Andrew just go ahead and do his Core 4 right now because that's right, Monday. I can't use those for the 1 and 4 o'clock slate on the main slate.
So I'm actually going the opposite. Is I'm going to pay down for quarterback and I'm going to go Jordan Love. Broncos defense is awful.
I had him in there.
He's pretty cheap. He's 56 or 5,800.
5,800.
I just think that this is the time for him to show he's the quarterback of the future. He's had some glimpses, some good and bad. This is the defense to do it against. For running back, I'm actually going to pay up for Josh Jacobs. He has been kind of off this year, but with Brian Hoyer starting, the Bears again are not a good run defense. No. So I have him.
You're not good.
And then for tight end, McBride's a good one. I'm pairing Luke Musgrave with Jordan Love. He's 3,200, so you can get yourself.
So funny you say this.
You can get yourself 9,000. You get yourself a quarterback and a quarterback and a tight end.
I originally had Jordan Love in my lineups for DK for tomorrow. I've set some lineups ahead of time, but I couldn't find who to pair him with because I wanted to pair him with either Watson or Dobbs, and I couldn't do it.
Maybe a nice
so
white wine.
the tight end is a reason, but again, I'm already on McBride.
Yeah.
But maybe that you can put in your flex.
Yeah.
And then really open up some
Yeah.
spots because you're paying down at quarterback, you're paying down at tight end, you're paying down at flex. You can put some studs in your lineup
And
if you want to go that direction.
My 2 wide receivers that I'm going between is Amari Cooper because I know that PJ Walker's probably going to play again.
I got a scare for you on there.
But Indy's defense is not the best against him. And the other guy is $100 less, who I have a little bit more in there right now, is Tyler Lockett.
Indy plays 84% zone coverage, second most in the league on defense. Amari Cooper's air yard stats are considerably less against zone defense.
Yeah.
And that scares me in that game because I had Cooper in the lineup as well. And then I got more into the numbers.
And then if you guys like Baltimore, you could put Zay Flowers in there. He's averaging like 13, 14 points
He's
a game.
solid, yeah.
And I believe Lions, their run defense is great, and they get a good pass rush, but I think their actual pass defense is like 18th or 19th
I know
in
they're
yards
seventh,
given.
maybe. I know they're seventh
In points
overall
allowed,
in
yeah.
defense. Maybe.
But I know in
Pretty
yards
good.
given,
Yeah.
some of that also has to do with them being up most of every
True,
game,
true.
so teams are throwing a lot
Yeah,
against them.
yeah.
But there's yards to be had,
Yards are points. Yards
catches
are
and yards
points.
to be had, and
Yeah.
if he gets in, so that is mine. But I think Jordan Love is where I'm gonna have a lot of ownership of
I
him.
had him in the lineup. I couldn't get a pair, so I paid up for Mahomes and got Kelsey. I went Mahomes, Kelsey because I wanted that combination. That stack is good to have when those guys go off in tournaments, especially. So
I would say 70% of your lineups need to have a stack.
yeah, I would agree
70 to
with that.
70 to 75%.
Some pairing matchup where
Yeah.
again, it's quarterback receiver matchup.
Yeah.
That's important because you're getting that combination, that touchdown combination. That's big.
Now there are some where they're not. So like I said, I stick to my rule of thumb is 70 to 75% of my lineups have a quarterback, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end combo. And then I try, if I have a receiver, I try not to have the running back also. Even if I don't have the
It's
thing.
tough.
If
You're
I
only
have
going to get one Dolphin game a year where four
yeah.
guys go for 30.
If I have Josh Jacobs, I'm not going to go to Jacoby
So
Myers.
you say.
I think we've already had 2 or 3.
Yeah,
this
but
year,
it's like
bro.
2 or 3
the Dolphins
already.
Have whole team has just gone.
That's
the hell
one
off.
team that there. There's one David
Yeah, you're
Montgomery,
right, yeah,
Amon-Ra
that's it.
St. Brown game a year. And it's tough to chase that down.
I know 2 players I'm big on. I don't have a complete core 4, but 2 running backs that I'm very big on is Saquon Barkley, that I know you can use in the 1 and 4 o'clock slates. He is their whole entire offense.
Yeah.
And they're versing Washington, which isn't that big. And then I like Gibbs. Gibbs has have to have a breakout game. There's no Montgomery today.
Jamir.
What are they doing with him?
They're not, but they have to use him today. I mean, put him in there. He's only $6,200, and I could see 15 fantasy
He's
points
playing
from
the
him.
DeAndre Swift role of last year. Jamal Williams got the touchdowns of that, and the reason for that is they view Gibbs as a long-term answer. They don't want to give him right out of the gate 30, 40 carries, and it's all great that they used the high draft pick on him and everything, but look what they paid Montgomery. So now I know Montgomery's hurt, but they're gonna use the guy they paid more than the draft pick, and maybe Gibbs is not the best pass blocker yet. We don't know those little things, right? Maybe he still gets confused on certain pass
Yeah, they
blocks.
don't trust him on third down.
So they don't want him out there as much. They don't want him to get hurt.
Don't want to get the quarterback killed.
And oh, by the way, they're winning, so
Yeah.
it's not like they've got to reinvent the wheel.
And let him ease his way in. They've got St. Brown. They've got Laporta.
Who's
They've
stepped up.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Jamison
been
Williams
big.
had a big catch.
Yeah.
2 big catches last couple
Yeah,
weeks.
Goff's mistake-free sort of
Yeah,
thing.
you know.
So, no, the team is doing – listen, they know what they're doing. We don't, apparently. We're looking at it through a fantasy lens. Why aren't you using the best guy in the field? But obviously,
I
they're
think
looking
today
at
they
big
have to.
picture.
I think
Hey,
today
don't
they're
try
gonna
to
do
invalidate our feelings. Our feelings are
They're
valid.
trying to
I
look big
think they're gonna see a lot of Craig Reynolds too.
You're
All right.
so mean.
Give me,
Yeah, Craig Reynolds, I love him.
Before we wrap it up, give me 2 locks for tomorrow.
I haven't saved it.
Lockety lock.
Give me 2 locks. 2 locks. 2-0, Andrew. I need 2-0, buddy.
All right, let me pull it up. I have it.
$500 on each, $1,000 parlay. We're going to Vegas.
$1,000
Going to Vegas Monday morning. Cash and going to Vegas. Here we go.
Oh my God! Oh, looking.
No, I got
Matt Dance.
Raiders -2.
Raiders
Okay.
-2.
Jacobs, love it.
And Tyler Badgett. I mean, yeah, he was great, but he was playing in a Division III school 6 months ago.
Will they cover the spread?
It's 2.5. It's only 2.5.
Okay, fair.
So I really like Las Vegas on this one, and then I'm going against your boys, and I'm taking the Rams -2.5.
It's fair.
I think the defense is good enough. I know that I think the
The only thing I'll
Rams-
say is Steelers coming out of a bye.
yes.
You would
Tomlin's
think
very good,
You
too.
would think that this would be a game they'd be prepared for, but I have no confidence in us. So.
And the offense is too vanilla, and I think that we saw Cooper Kupp look great coming back his last 2
Yeah,
games.
they're using all the weapons they have.
They got
the Rams.
Puka.
Yeah.
I know that they don't have Kyron Williams, but Zach Evans is serviceable. There's a reason they drafted him. Royce Freeman is brought up. Royce Freeman did fine with when he was on Denver for a while.
Yeah.
And their defense is playing pretty well. The Rams, where I just don't see what.
Well, the Steelers' offense doesn't scare you in any way. So
and they got Deontay Johnson back, but not having Freiermuth is a big deal.
it is. It is.
So those are my two.
Yeah,
best.
how
Very
big of an
large.
impact is Johnson coming back to this offense?
It's a big impact.
It is, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's
you
a big
guys are
impact.
missing a really good wide receiver
He
the entire
was
season.
he was Pickett's security blanket last year. Remember we talked about
Just a bigger version of Pickett.
we talked about target share
Larger.
and how important that is. Last year, Deontay had 130 targets.
Could he be the difference maker?
No, because I think we're that bad where we can't have just one guy make a difference.
I mean,
But
most
You,
of-
you
most-
really know how to beat your team up, man.
but you'll see you'll see
their
a little
wins-
bit of a change.
Pittsburgh's wins have not been because
You
of the offense.
set him up on that one.
They scored 2 touchdowns
I know,
against
I know.
Cleveland.
It's a-
yeah.
No, they scored 2 touchdowns, and then against Baltimore, the defense self-destructed Baltimore. The offense didn't do anything.
yeah.
They blocked a punt. They had an
And
interception.
Baltimore
they
had
had a
7 drop
fumble.
passes also.
Yeah.
I mean, they
And T.J.
sold
Watt
something
was
for a
amazing.
lot.
Yeah.
And you know,
Watt and Highsmith are the only reason that they have 3 wins.
Another game I picked Pittsburgh on and didn't know why
So
historically or anything.
I
else.
just think
It's
that the
really-
Rams will be good enough, and
Yeah, and they won.
I think Aaron Donald will cause enough havoc and to make Pickett 1 or 2 turnovers.
the
that could
offensive
change
line.
flip of the game.
I will say this: our offensive line is healthy now, and it's finally healthy. It wasn't the last few weeks; it's been a hodgepodge. So we're getting healthier. The bye week helped. This should be our best foot forward this week. So what you see tomorrow is who the Steelers are. Okay, this will be it. And again, I'm not confident, but
so let
we'll
me ask
see.
you this: this offense that you have, right? You have talent.
This is the best This is the best product we'll put on the field tomorrow.
If you had an offensive coordinator like Mike McDaniels or McVay running this offense, is your offensive coordinator really the problem with the offense?
It's a part of it.
the
Yeah,
main.
it's a
It's
huge
the
part
main.
of
That's
it.
what I'm asking. It's
Yeah.
the main
It's a
part of
huge-
it, right?
Well, I can't say it's the main
Pretty
part
bad.
of it because we
Yeah.
still have Pickett who hasn't proven himself yet.
Yeah, but
We
there's
still
a lot
got
of
Mike
that
but is it
Williams.
because Canada's
Yeah.
not putting him in a
look
position
at
to
look
win?
at look at Tua under Brian Flores and look at Tua right now.
I know.
Eh,
No, coaching's a
coaches
huge
can
difference. Huge
look at.
difference.
Do you think Brock Purdy would be Brock Purdy if he wasn't with Kyle Shanahan? No, he would be good. I'm saying he could be certain, but who's to say Kenny Pickett wouldn't be
That's exactly
couldn't be
what I'm
Brock
saying,
Purdy
yeah.
with that type of.
No, that's fair. It's a fair argument. And again, nobody's in favor of Matt Canada right now. It's
I mean,
not like
he calls
everybody's.
one play-
Did you see
quarterback
the
is
Did
scored
you see the
touchdown.
fire Matt Canada at the Penguins home opener?
Yes.
So the Penguins home opener before the game, the whole entire 26,000 was chanting "Fire Matt Canada."
Yeah,
It's
it's
at a hockey game.
Pittsburgh's a serious town with sports. They don't mess
You
around.
can't walk around the city.
They don't mess around. So.
All
Plus,
right,
his last
so-
name is Canada. Really? Come on. Nobody likes anyone from Canada. The Canadian neighbors that we have.
Oh, Canada, you
Whatever.
really need
I
to
bet
be
you Tom Brady's-
fired.
I bet you Tom Brady's half Canadian.
Oh my God! Yeah, now
sure
you're
he
going
is.
after
It
Tom
froze
Brady
again.
again.
No,
All right, so, all right, now we're starting to get a little bitter. All right,
Yeah.
so let's wrap things up here. And,
Brokeback
do
Mountain
you have
was
any?
filmed in Toronto. You know
No,
that, right?
God. Just, all right, any
yeah.
parting shots?
I
Anything,
just gave a
anything?
few, but I think I'm good. Yeah.
You think of it, and you guys, anything, anybody? No.
No.
Go
Seminoles.
Florida State. I'll give you that.
Seminoles.
Oh,
If you can wear that jersey.
you did that in my house. No
Clemson,
less.
Miami under tonight. If you guys want a college bet.
Warwick Dunn just built another house for somebody.
Shut up.
That's
That's,
really cool.
fine. That's
He's a good
great. He's awesome for doing that. And I like Deion Sanders. It's not like I completely hate the FSU program, but they're ew. Anyway, all right. So on behalf of myself and the boys, no matter how misguided they may be, yeah, no, you get no chop on the air, brothers. No, you get nothing and like it. Nope. Nope. See the monitor right there? You get nothing. You get nothing and like it. Yeah, get out of the way. Yeah, my camera. All right, we'll see you guys next week at 12. Oh, jeez.
There he is.
In perpetuity, no
Nice
less.
jersey.
Well, on behalf of myself and the fellas, thanks so much for watching. We'll get you next Saturday at 12 o'clock sharp. I don't know how sharp we'll be, but we'll be here at 12 o'clock. So, yeah, Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Once again, like, subscribe, follow.
Smell
all of
you
that
later.
stuff. And smell you later.
Outta here.
Yeah, that too. Oh, wait, I got to do the ender. Wait, where are you going? Hey, stop.
here.
Hey,
We're
don't go. Come on. All the plants will die. Come on, where are you going? Oh, man. Oh, I put that on there.